Good evening, chat. Welcome back to the 6v6 Summer Brawl Buds Little Tournament, sponsored by Gladiator.tf. Contractual obligations out of the way. We're going to be looking at the playoffs. The regular matches, the group stages, whatever you want to call them, are over. And we've got the top two teams in the group matching up in this little upper bracket final straight away. It is the ETF12 format, if you're familiar. So we're going to be looking at MANDEM versus SKEDDA, which is an oddly familiar matchup from just a few weeks ago. From the ETF season as well, because it's the same exact teams and rosters and everything. But before I get ahead of myself, I'm Cerny, joined by Samus on the production and Ben on the mic. How you doing, man?
Doing very good, yeah. It's obviously nice to be around, from between the seasons. There's such a big gap between the seasons and between like obviously LAN and there's Nations Cup and such going on. So it's great. There's another summer tournament happening, and like you say, it's basically an ETF12 season, but like cramped down into a week. Like the intensity of this is crazy, right? There's been games happening all over the place. Like Essentials has done a great job of getting streams up for as much time as they can. But what that's meant is that we've now got the upper bracket final. The winner of this is going to be going through to the grand final, and it's literally a rematch of the ETF12 grand final. We've got SKEDDA and MANDEM, who put on a great show, I've got to say, in the ETF12 final, and we might be seeing that again.
It's hopefully certainly possible if neither of them have dropped off in form. You know, there's no footy match happening today or even recently, so maybe there's not going to be hangovers, any celebrations involved. I mean, wait, the England game was yesterday, right? But whatever. You know, I think people are not going to be distracted or anything. So if everybody is on form, we're probably looking at a good match, I would imagine. And potentially even, depending on how the lower bracket goes, whoever loses this may very well meet the winner again in the finals on Monday. So who knows? It's always possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've got to say, like, I want to point out, like, how closely matched these two teams were. Obviously, MANDEM are, like, the team who's been the top seeds in Prem for the last couple of seasons. Obviously, didn't quite make it to the final season before after having some playoff incidents. But last season, they won it out. But they had such a close grand final. They had the Golden Cap on Granary and then that 3-2 game on Product. And it seems like SKEDDA in that Golden Cap, they lost it. But they're feeling confident because they're picking Granary straight up as their first pick. MANDEM deciding to stick with Koth as well, but they're picking Bagel. And we'll go to Snakewater if needed as a deciding map number 3. So what are your thoughts coming into Granary, right? A map that was played in the finals just weeks ago, and SKEDDA feeling confident on it.
They must have either done their homework. Maybe they thought it was just a fluke. They'll do better this time. They'll get it going this time. And generally just a map that still I don't think we see often enough. I still think we don't see it nearly as much as we do other maps, like Snakewater, for instance, or Process. I'm just happy to see it for that sake alone, right? For the fact that we don't see it very frequently. That alone already makes things interesting. Obviously, they're confident in their soldier duo of Jordy and Warped being able to match up against Hans and Blank on the other side as well. So I suppose we'll see how well they can get away with the stuff they want to do.
Yeah, well, we can finish the tournament and start the tournament because game is going live. Map number 1, SKEDDA's pick. It's Granary, and they're going to be rolling out in the blue colours. MANDEM over in the red. And do I see a Krieg on the first mid?
That is a curious choice out of June straight away with the crits. I mean, if it works, it works. If you can catch them off guard with it, it certainly would be some interesting play. For now, it's just going to unfold as usual. A little bit of spam, picking a prod, the usual stuff here and there. Nobody really committing too much just yet. Just taking it slow, taking it easy. Matter of fact, really, they're both very passive here, both teams. It's quite surprising. No soldiers bombing across at all. Right? Yeah, maybe. I guess that's what they're waiting for on the side of MANDEM here. Nothing. Okay, they find one scout. They find 2 scouts, and that's probably all they have to settle for. With the chase on Fancy, one bombs in deep, gets the Uber out of Mac there. Has to basically pop for that, but will they be able to chase anything with it? Probably not. Yeah, they're just gonna have to accept that one. Take it on the chin. Fancy's still behind as well, and that's gonna be something you have to deal with at this point.
Fancy's such a menace, right? Gets behind, gets the force, and Lives might be taking out Warp 2 as well, ducking and weaving inside this lobby, and has got support from Boulder 2 as well, so all 6 MANDEM players staying alive somehow, and Lucas, a late death over there on the flank too, means Cap can come through, and okay, it's crits add into last, but it's no Demo Man. This is maybe workable.
Yeah, they certainly have a chance. I mean, end of the day, they have to not worry about an Uber on the side of Mac just yet either. They lose Boulder, but honestly, the scout won't be in the crits anyway. That headshot onto Hans will slow things down a little bit though. And even if they're gonna still try to use it, they find a couple of frags. Maybe this is still doable. They have the numbers. They have a bit of point pressure as well, and not the demo can't do it either. Just about. They managed to keep Lucas alive. But actually, I feel they hold this. They hold this somehow. Somehow, some way. Just better positioning, better kiting out of MANDEM there to get... Sorry, out of SKEDDA there to hold on to it just ever so slightly.
Yeah, this is the problem, right, with crits to mid. Like, even when it works, like, if it doesn't work perfectly and you get the med kill and such, like, you do get left in these awkward positions where, yeah, you've got add-ins last, but it's crits, and, like, there's a limited options that give you... You can't just bust through a choke because you're going to get caught out. Boulder got caught too, and, yeah, that just means that now it's going to be the blue side SKEDDA able to push out their way into second, into the yard too. June's still another 20% away from this crits, but it's only crits, and Mac has a full Uber ready to use instant.
Yeah, if you do not get caught by that crits, which is coming out right now, they do find Af, but that's probably all they're going to get with the Uber coming out now. You cannot instantly kill people who take no damage. He's a menace, but he's not going to get... Okay, he trades for Jordy, fair enough. They do find medics as well. Yeah, actually, okay. They're actually going to come out on top of this somehow, MANDEM. Getting that Uber out, not much to be done with it on the side of SKEDDA, and once more they're going to find themselves on their own last. Well, protecting second for the time being, but come on, that's ambitious. You got to get out to last, you got to try and hold that instead, and MANDEM on the charge forward. They've got their crits pretty far up once more, 60% already, coming up on 70, so there's another chance for them. If Manix can't get these headshots on that sniper, and he can't deny this push again, this could be dire for SKEDDA. This is another good hold they need here, and it's going to be a little bit tougher this time, potentially, depending on how quickly MANDEM wants to move.
Well, they're getting ready to push it now. Two soldiers going in high, trying to land on this combo, doing good damage over onto Lucas, but Jordy and Af both there, ready to lock the door. June goes down, Boulder goes down too. And Inzo who's on the medic. Oh, good effort, but not quite going to manage it. And again, the crits into last, you just can't get through these choke points, particularly when there's shutters on the sides, like on Granary. Like, it's so hard. There's a sniper, there's two soldiers, there's demo sticky bombs everywhere. It's just a nightmare to push into with crits. And even when, yeah, it's crits hard, it's just not enough. And June now deciding to switch back to the normal medigun. The surprise is over, and it's going to be back to regular programming over the mediguns. But in terms of SKEDDA, they're walking forward, massive advantage, and they're trying to pressure into mid.
Yeah, trying to make as best use of it as they can, and they're trading out some players. Unfortunately, it's not in favor of SKEDDA. Even if they use the Uber, they won't be able to chase much either. They did find June at the end of the day, but it's not like she was close to an Uber anyway, so if anything, they just saved themselves from a terrible situation. Because Mac hasn't been building much, he's in danger, he's trying to keep his team alive as best he can, and failing. Warp goes down, he does manage to keep the rest of his team together, though, for the time being, and Inzo isn't going to be much of a menace for the time being. He is behind. He is being a bit of a thorn, but he's going to have spawners to deal with as well, and a team that is certainly aware of his whereabouts. Matter of fact, they have backed out. He meets up with the rest of his team, and they hang on to mid for the time being.
Not the ideal Uber there from SKEDDA, right? Losing so many players in the way, and the Horns is bombing straight in onto the choke. Massive damage, and it gets worse and worse for SKEDDA now as they're losing their medic. Lucas so weak too. He's just about going to get out on a sliver of HP, but I was going to say there was maybe a chance of a repush. Mac had a slight advantage, but that advantage has gone completely. And yeah, demo down to Jordy, trying to wrap behind, going to go for some sort of flank play, but this is a free second point, and this is a massive ad going into last, unless Jordy has something to say about it.
Yeah, he's trying to be as sneaky as possible, but gets spotted by a scout, actually both of them. And there's a soldier as well with Blank just cleaning him up, so nothing out of that flank play. Now he's missing for the last hold, and guess what? June's got a full Uber ready to take into this last point, so unless Menix gets a nasty shot here before anybody walks into sight lines, or any ground on the point, which is not happening because the Uber comes out immediately, so he's out of the equation. He goes to heavy instead, and they have to hold this against that full Uber that's already spawn camping them as well on the side of SKEDDA. So much cap time as well. Nobody from SKEDDA can even get to the point in time. And there you go. They round out that first round on the side of MANDEM.
Yeah, that's just the difference between Uber and crits, right? Is you can just get through those tight doorways. Yeah, there's a sniper staring at the doorway, but it makes absolutely no difference. You can just launch a demo straight through it, not going to take any damage at all, and is able to start locking down those spawns instantly. And great round there coming through. Very well coordinated push. Don't think anyone died there, to be quite honest, on the MANDEM side. And they're taking up a clean 1-0 lead. No crits this time on mid. We'll see if they can have the same success as before.
Demos denying each other their high ground. Fancy does win that duel originally, but Lucas trying to stand his ground as well. And looks like it might be a similar mid to last time, despite the fact that crits aren't in play. So perhaps a little bit more aggression out of MANDEM this time. They are certainly taking more ground more quickly, especially the scouts. Up on the high ground here, Boulder trying to peek and prod a little bit, but for now, no frags falling either way just yet. Not much aggression, a little bit more damage onto the side of SKEDDA, so they have to retreat. They're rotating around now, trying to take the other side here, and Well, they're getting some point pressure going as well, but still, finally the first frag is going to fall in favor of MANDEM as they take down Lucas. No demo for the side of SKEDDA. Make that 2 players down with F taking care of as well. Inzo slips in and gets that kill onto Mac. I don't believe it.
Oh, it's a huge play. We've seen Insta go for these mad flanks previously, and this one works to absolute perfection. Just running straight through Garage, straight through onto the medic, and not only that, there's more players crunching in from choke, sweeping up even more kills. Only 3 alive now on the last point. Massive advantage again, and to be quite honest, MANDEM, they're still in cap mid. This is another few seconds before this push can come through, but we saw how convincing that last push was previously. Like, MANDEM are looking odds on to go 2-0 up.
Yeah, they have a prime platter here to just take this other round straight away. And it's on them to lose it. It's on them to mess this up somehow. Not do it the exact same way they did just mere minutes ago. They're opting for the other side, perhaps. Fancy certainly is on the other side, and they might be expecting that sniper again as well. So I guess we'll see how well they get it in this time around. Early Uber, but they get juggled around a little bit. Not much ground coverage just yet. The sentry still not taking care. Finally, they do find that. That's a cap time again, actually, already. Inzo's just sticking that point, and he's doing so much. Matter of fact, yeah, that's enough for a bit of cleanup by Blank, and there you go. Play the point, that's all that matters.
If there's nothing blocking you from standing on the point, then why not stand on the point, right? Is what Inzo's thinking there. Gets so much cap time, and yeah, okay, when the point's 3/4 cap, the push is as well as done, right? Even though Inzo dies, like, someone's gonna be able to jump on it eventually on the MANDEM side, and one of their soldiers lands down from height, and is able to finish with that cap, but 2-0 with less than 10 minutes to play. Like, this is looking quite different to that grand final in ETF2L. This is looking like potentially a bit of a runaway, because I don't think SKEDDA really got into this game yet. They're getting a good bit of damage up on top onto Fancy early on. That could be a really important kill if they can get onto it. Fancy somehow living.
Okay, he gets taken care of. Inzo's already behind Mac. Oh my god. He already slipped in behind again. Boulder as well, doing a nice cleanup there. Just slipping back with the rest of his team. They just gotta keep June alive. There's gonna be a wave of aggression coming their way here. 2 scouts and Lucas. They are out for blood. They want that frag onto June so bad, and they are not getting it. Well, Inzo is still cleaning up from behind.
Still winning fights.
Oh my god. How does he get away with it? He's gonna get that kill as well onto Lucas here, definitely. Matter of fact, Fancy actually cleans it up, but yeah, that's a 1 mid, a wipe effectively. A bit of a unconventional one, but it did work out, and here you are, another 1 mid from MANDEM.
Yeah, just going in behind and just winning the back-to-back 1v1s against Alpha Medics on Inzo is great work, and getting the kill on the mid too onto Mac means it's going to be a big Uber ad sitting on the side of June, and MANDEM don't want to waste any time. They know that Mac's going to be building back up, and there's a timer on this if they want to get anything meaningful through into last, which at this point is probably already gone. I'm not quite sure. The 20% left. Mac just seems like they're going to be getting that Uber charge up in time, so second point is maybe going to be taken for free. There's sticky bombs still to clear on the point, and still obviously spam angles to be careful of, but point capped up. And even Ubers will Haunts jumping in, trying to make that not the case. Good effort there, but
Max bursted well. Okay, no, he's not gonna get cleaned up either. They're holding this. They don't have to worry about it just yet on the side of SKEDDA, and they bought enough time. Perhaps pushing MANDEM back that far actually did buy them a chance here to even push back out into second if they so desired. It doesn't look like they want to. They've got that engineer, they got that sniper set up, so they're bunkering up on last. They want to make this as easy as possible on themselves. Now they're being thrown a curveball though, because I'm seeing a double spy on the side of MANDEM. Both Inzo and Haunts picking up the cloak and dagger, seeing if they can make some chaos plays happen here, because you don't see the double spy ever, really. It's a very rare play.
Oh, it's genius. It's absolutely genius. I love it. I love to see it. It's obviously, you don't expect the first spy, but you certainly don't expect the second spy, and both of them able to sneak through this right-hand shot unnoticed so far. No one's taken any splashes, no one's taken any damage.
Onto the cloaks, onto medic, just gets cleaned up immediately. I think he was on the normal cloak there, not the cloak and dagger, so that's a curious choice, but I guess he was a little eager. But they won't expect that Inzo's there as well. They're like, okay, we dealt with the spy. It was a sack play almost, so we'll see how Inzo can make something happen here now. Mac is careful. He's in careful positions. They're just going to sap the sentry instead, see if Blank can send something in. Unfortunately, he can't. He gets cleaned up just as well. The sentry didn't even get taken down either, so a coordinated play didn't quite go the way they wanted. Now Af gets an opportunity to maybe snipe a little bit more forward here. Doesn't quite hit the shot on the soldier. Now has to deal with...
Georgie behind.
Perhaps he can make something happen. There's nobody really to flank. Like, this, yeah, Blank just backed off immediately, and there you go. It's just a reset.
Yeah, the weird timing as well means that they don't see each other with Horns
Yeah.
on that flank too is quite an awkward timing for both of them, but they're both kind of happy, I guess, to not get caught out. But Horns is getting caught out and he's going to go back into the respawn queue. As maybe this is opportunity, right? 2 rounds down, you may be thinking SKEDDA perhaps looking to sort of peek and try and go for something perhaps as they got a sniper peeking deep into lobby who's going to have to back up. But Geordie, the one getting caught out, was that some crazy sticks over the top of the wall from Fancy? I think it was, with the big high bomb and firing over the scenery.
It seems to have worked, and Geordie, I mean, even Fancy's a little disillusioned about that one. Doesn't quite believe it that it happened, but it did work, and now they got to deal with the sniper on the other side, and Inzo picking up the rifle as well, looking to go for this duel perhaps, seeing if he can win getting a nice frag instead, and, well, I suppose it's down to whoever gets those headshots first. Balder going down means it's going to be a lot harder for MANDEM to find many angles now, though, and they're going to be back to defending. As perhaps, just perhaps, SKEDDA gonna take the initiative? I doubt it. They got 2 minutes left on the timer. They're probably willing to go for the round reset at this point. And Inzo wins that duel.
Yeah, I guess Fancy again just going for these shots over the top with the sticky bombs. I love to see it. But like you say, Inzo's won the shot, and Boulder now up on Spy too, so they're going all in for this one. They're really going for all the off classes. We're going pro lander mode over on the MANDEM side, and with AF down, that means a bit more space with no sniper staring at a doorway just yet. But I say that AF going to be spawning and rolling out just now. Meant that Boulder has actually been able to sneak into the left-hand side this time. Getting behind the tyre. Going to be looking for any options of what to stab, what to stab. Tries to look onto Lucas, gets the sap onto the gun, but that looks like it's going to be it. Well, let's hold is in.
Nope, does get cleaned up as well. What's with all these spies running the invis watch, man? Just use the cloak and dagger. You have way more time. You don't have to rush getting set up, but they all just use the invis watch. I mean, I guess they got the force out in the end. That's probably a good consolation, but they also have to give up second for free. SKEDDA, or at least they have to give them a lot of time here. SKEDDA are going to take that cap if they so desire, or maybe they won't. Decide against it. They felt a bit too much aggression. They realized that round reset might be more desirable at this point, because you're going to be up against the Uber. Yeah.
It's sketchy though, right, from SKEDDA. They've got to defend this perfectly. The last twice, it's been so good from MANDEM, and they're using straight in from this left-hand side onto the gun, onto Mac, onto Lucas, onto Geordie too, and there's no defenders left at all. Warp's going to do what he can, but it's not enough in 3 rounds to the good.
Should have gone out. Probably should have pushed that one. Should have forsaken the round reset and maybe tried to hold them off on second instead, because I think that came back to bite them there.
10-15 seconds, right?
Yeah.
Like, even if you maybe scramble an Uber back up in that last hole, but again, it's just so clean from MANDEM, right? These pushes are just absolute like surgical precision, and again, another one converted, half the game played, and it's already 3-0. Like this is a really good showing. Nothing like that ETF 12 final that we saw coming out from MANDEM. Is a bit of a turn of pace this time. Big high bombs, Jordan landing on the lamp, Horns jumping across the other side, and we have an absolute deathmatch brawl at this point as players all over this. Horns in on the medic is going to get a good amount of damage onto Mac, but not quite find the final touches. June and Boulder trying to get out. Fancy's behind, Inso's behind, and this is a very rough situation now for the MANDEM side.
Fancy just decides to go forward, does a monstrous amount of damage on Mac, but Inzo just isn't quite there to follow it up just yet. And unfortunately, they're probably aware that there might be some, there's a little rat about that they have to deal with behind now, so maybe he's gonna just settle for the forward spawner on Geordie. Geordie's definitely winning this one so far, but yeah, no, they deal with him. They take care of that Inzo problem, and now SKEDDA actually in a nice position to take this forward for once. The Ubers are still even at the end of the day, but it's the first time they find themselves on this side of the map, so they might actually have an opportunity to make something happen for once as well, if they can get everybody ready and positioned. Losing Warped probably doesn't help in that regard. You're probably not gonna like that one. You were just a player up, and now you're a player down. And yeah, MANDEM are immediately taking the initiative. They already sent in some flanks here on the side. You already got Hans slipping through as well, and they're pincering them. They're pincering them already. It's tough. It's looking really dicey for SKEDDA already.
Yeah, they got to start somewhere, right? You've got an opportunity the first time in the enemy side of the map. You've got to try and make it count, and Horns is going to be a bit of a thorn, but he's going to be taken down. So one soldier down into Granary second is a pretty big deal in my book. It's again, lots of tight doorways, lots of tight choke points. That having a soldier down means less of those are getting held, and less of them are getting spammed. So this is maybe an opportunity to send some pressure in. Maybe go for some sort of play, maybe through Lunchbox or Shutter, or we'll see. It looks like Shutter for now is going to be where the pressure's coming from, but it'll be quick because that spawner's coming in soon. It's going to be a trade.
They're gonna just use that Uber in straight away. Obviously, the response comes out eventually of June, but it is a little bit later. It's a little bit better. Their MANDEM players are gonna be invincible for a little bit longer, but yeah, that's all she wrote for that. That's just gonna be a trade on the flank in the meantime, and oh, that frag onto Lucas is really gonna slow down your offense at this point. If you are SKEDDA, you gotta try to somehow sneak someone in behind, but that's not happening either. They got that shit on lock, and yeah, you're just bleeding players as they're backing out. They're trying their best.
It's just going to stop the offensive. It's going to turn it the complete other way.
Yeah.
Dropping like flies on the way out and SKEDDA. They lost 3 players there just running away from the onslaught of MANDEM. And MANDEM going to get midpoint. They're still up 2 players that have denied forward spawns. They want to roll this even further. They want to keep going.
And they have the momentum in their hands as they go. So why wouldn't they keep it going as best they can? Blank does get cleaned up, trying to be a little bit of an aggressive initiator there, but sows a bit of chaos, a little bit of a flank behind as well. Hans gets taken care of, but they do find Af, and this team is scrambling on the side of SKEDDA. They're all so low. Mac trying his best to keep everybody alive as best he can, and they're doing an okay job. They actually do be killing everybody, getting that Uber exchange out of Balder and June here, who have to back out because they don't have players to contest whatever happens afterwards. Maybe some respawners are enough to have them refight mid here, but they're certainly not keen on it. They're backing out even further, rotating at the very least to choke, and SKEDDA already on the case as well, trying to deny them any grounds they can. Lucas trying his best to not die either, and they're losing players again.
Inzo's in and just winning fights again on the point.
Yeah,
Almost
somehow
gets that kill over onto Af, I believe. Is actually the counter aggression is just here. MANDEM are just in. They were a player down for basically the whole of this fight. They're still going to run in. Blank is very, very high up into the skybox, landing onto Lucas. Nearly going to get the kill. 12 HP left on that one. But SKEDDA, as the dust settles, are going to be capping up mid, and they're going to be chasing through, potentially looking for some hero shots over onto June, who does just slip and slide away in through the shutter. There's a sniper to deal with, but the momentum now flip-flopping back, and SKEDDA, they're going to get this forward spawn shut off. 2 players locked inside there. Potentially can look for second here.
Yeah, it's certainly a chance for them. It's probably the best opportunity they've had. They're gonna get Ubered out in Lunchbox, unfortunately. Probably wasn't the intention there, and they're not gonna be able to get too much aggression onto the enemy combo either. So June is sitting pretty for the time being. Gotta maybe even drop a couple of players if she's gotta, but at the end of the day, if it allows you to keep your Uber and have a better chance of re-pushing, so be it. And SKEDDA doing an okay job, you know, keeping their players alive, taking second here, but and not gonna be able to take us into last very easily. And even just one frag fall in the favor of MANDEM now will allow them to push out again instead. So we'll see how this aggression goes. Warped is in deep, does get some cap time going, does get the force out as well. Lucas goes down for their troubles as well, so SKEDDA will not be able to re-aggress very easily. They have to somehow get a monstrous amount of damage at this point without a demo, with only 1 soldier. And Jordy's trying his best to do that, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah, Lucas gets a forward spawn, so he's actually just arriving now into yards, so there is potentially a chance for a really, really quick re-aggression, but nothing will be happening too quickly because we've gone into a pause.
That is very curious indeed. So, realistically, this could mean that there was a round that ended, maybe because somebody crashed. Obviously, you would assume, given the current situation, that that would have gone the way of SKEDDA, but it could always spell doom either way. We don't know. Mac apparently crashed, so that's a bad sign for SKEDDA.
Oh, the medic is. Why is it always the medic that crashes? Like, it's the most unfortunate, right? Like,
it's like a curse. It's some sort of curse that's put on you as a medic, where your internet becomes 18 times more likely to crash or something. That is very unfortunate, because even if they had a chance here, obviously they've got a bit of an ad right now to work with, right? They're on the back foot for a time being, but they're on the way in. We can only hope that this crash happened after they win this round. If you're rooting for SKEDDA.
Yeah, or if you're rooting for like the chance of a comeback, right? There's like, what, at the time of the pause, there's 11 minutes left, like for 3 rounds to find. Like, it's definitely doable. Well, but you want to be starting sooner rather than later, if you get me.
Yeah, definitely. And slowing down with your medic crashing, ideally that should only happen at the start of a round and not while you're about to maybe convert one. So I guess we'll see. Pause and unpause comes through, so it must have been only a small crash. No big long timeout, but yeah, I mean, if you're SKEDDA in the situation, right, this is your map pick. You were feeling confident enough to pick this map, deciding, oh man, we're gonna get them this time around, and then you kind of eat dirt for 20 minutes. you're not having a great time at all, right? You got to somehow find your way back in this in like 10 minutes time. It's a tough order. It's not the easiest thing in the world. Especially, I mean, it's happened on Granary before, but it's a map that is so easy to slow down on, right? If you're MANDEM, you really just want to slow the pace down a little bit. you can do that decently well. So I guess we'll see. Now that the pause has stopped, we are back live. We'll see how SKEDDA approach this, how they try to do this. They do have that Uber ad. It's not sizable anymore. It is withering away slowly but surely, but it's enough for them to get into last already, as second is being capped, and to try and maybe get some frags to clean up anything, but they're not finding much beyond the soldiers that have already died on second, and well, maybe this cap time is enough to motivate some sort of play. Af gets taken care of, but the Uber comes out to protect it, and that's all she wrote. Everybody else gets cleaned up as well. It's only a Soul Scout medic combo running for their lives. And that gets caught as well. Actually, it's only Menix left, and he gets cleaned up. And, well, we know Max crashing in the next 30 seconds or so. So, yeah, it's not looking good.
Yeah, that was the chance, right, with that Uber charge in, but June's just so aware of it and just backs out all the way, and he's back in the spawn door before the Uber can even get anywhere near her. So massive advantage over June. It's going to be a big advantage again, of course, with Matt going down in that little skirmish on the second point, as Georgie just trying to get in, try and do some distraction, but it's Blank the one in doing the damage. As we have another pause off the back of a huge bomb, I've got to say, from Hollands, with Boulder following in, doing a nuke onto this blue combo. And honestly, I don't think Lucas is long for this world either.
Yeah, he's staring down. Not just the haunts above him, but also an Inzo currently floating towards him. So he's probably dead as well. Medic already taken care of. It's not looking pretty if you're SKEDDA. And I'm just going to go out on a limb and assume that this was Mac crashing again. Because issues like that tend to, snowball. They tend to keep going. So yeah, if you're looking at SKEDDA right now, it's looking a bit dire at this point.
Yeah, I think without the possibility of a bit of pause and a crash and whatever, this game state doesn't really look too great for them either, to be honest. Like, they've just lost their medic. Their demo's not long for this world. They're facing Desard. Like, unless these flank players in top garage can get onto June, I think this is looking pretty rough.
It is another Mac timeout indeed. So bad day for your internet to have trouble, huh? I mean, at the end of the day, they're not out of the tournament yet. Even if they lose now, right? They're going to go to the lower bracket, worst case, but it certainly would be nice for SKEDDA if they could get themselves a bye into the final straight away without having to worry about any of that. But at least with the pace it's going right now, it probably wasn't happening on this map anyway, but it certainly isn't happening now with your medic crashing twice in 5 minutes.
Yeah, and again, they're 3 rounds down. There's not a great deal of time to play with regardless, And honestly, even despite all that, I think MANDEM have just looked so good. MANDEM especially in that first 20 minutes, like you said, the mid-fights were confident. They were converting these last pushes great. Their trades were good. They were just, their flank was doing great. Inso's had a fantastic game so far. I don't know, everyone's just popping off, and I don't know, it's hard to stop a team like MANDEM like this when they're all just on a roll.
They are looking like the better team right now, and more well-oiled machine. They're just winning the fights where they have to. They have insane flank potential going on. I feel like that's part of it as well. SKEDDA's having real trouble shutting down Inzo and Haunts on the flank. Those guys are getting away with a lot more than they probably should be, and I think that's part of what's really biting SKEDDA right now, is the fact that they just are struggling to deal with that in the best way possible. Which ideally would be killing them, but right now it's not happening. Yeah, proving pretty difficult. Those guys are slippery.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I guess there's still a little bit of time left on this one. One thing I've noticed actually, because I know with obviously this isn't exactly the ETF12 rosters, right, for these teams. Obviously for SKEDDA it is, but on MANDEM they had a bit of a shuffle. This is actually the exact roster that they had online in the ETF12 Grand Final, because it was Blank as a Merc for Lardox for the final, but Blank is actually on this roster for this tournament anyway, which is something I clicked on before. There was a bit of a mixture of who was going to be on Soldier for this team. Now, this is genuinely a 12-man rematch of the grand final that happened a month ago.
The only thing that's different is that Mac's internet is kicking the bucket tonight. It's not having a good day at all, so that is an unfortunate handicap to have, I suppose, if you were feeling confident, because at this point, I mean, honestly, you got 8 minutes roughly on the clock, right? 8 minutes left after this unpause whole stuff comes through. Is 8 minutes and 3 rounds? It's possible. We've seen it before. There's famous examples of it on Granary, but against a team that's looking as good as MANDEM? I don't think so, man. I think you're just going GG go next on that one. trying to bring it back on Bagel.
There's even the thing as well, like where you obviously like you don't just find one crazy round of like a coast to coast or something. To find 3, it's like after the second round, like surely they just park up on second,
Yeah.
or like or have a gun or something, right? Like surely you can really sweat it out at that point. It just gets so much more difficult, but. Yeah, it's a long way till that yet. As there's still 8 minutes or so. You don't have to get to sort of the crazy like everyone's running pain train or anything. Like it is plausible with like regular play, but I don't know what's not plausible. I guess is just breaking down this MANDEM team 3 times because I don't think they've had 3 like serious fight losses in the entire game so far.
Yeah, even if they start dropping the ball now, they can stem the bleeding so easily. When they have 3 rounds to work with, it's a big cushion to have. The only way it could get bigger is if they grab another round here off the back of Mac, repeatedly crashing, right? So at that point, it's probably a sealed deal entirely, and an unfortunate situation to find yourself in if you're SKEDDA. But yeah, that's the nature of online tournaments, I suppose. It's unfortunate, but what can you do?
Yeah, it's really fortunate. But yeah, like you said before, though, it is very grateful for Mac at least that this is like the upper bracket final. There is still another lifeline, and this is also map 1 of the series. Obviously, it's their pick,
Yeah.
but there is a chance they lose this one. They can still win the whole thing. They can win their lower bracket final game and then come back for a rematch against MANDEM in the grand final, and that is a plausible path to victory for them. But you don't want to risk that, right? There's good teams in this tournament. There's plenty of really strong top tier mixed teams entering, and like we've seen in like the league play part of this tournament that basically nobody's safe. Like these teams are just like eating each other up for breakfast. It's basically anyone's game a lot of the time, and like these are like 2 of like the only like full solid rosters that are here. So those teams in like the low bracket that they could have to face against, like it could be carnage, and not necessarily a good way for SKEDDA.
It's certainly a grueling thing to go through instead than on, I believe that, I don't know how many more of those are going to be played tonight, or even at all before next week.
It's just the lower bracket semi-final that's tonight at the same time as
Right.
this, not on stream. Then there will be the lower bracket final at, I want to say Saturday. I'm not sure. It's basically, I think it got all moved because of the football. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to pin myself down to claiming a date and then, oh, here's a Twitch clip of you saying when the date is and you lied to me, Ben. I hate you. Right?
It's probably on Monday. It's probably on Monday. Let's just go and be conservative with the estimate. It's probably on Monday because half of the players in this tournament are English and they want to see their team lose against Spain. So, you know.
That is the only way it's going. Like, I don't know.
Okay, we're getting off topic, but like, there's nothing going on with the pause anymore. Can I talk about this? How terribly England has been playing all Euro Cup?
It's been awful.
You've tied every game. Like, you don't do, the entire team does nothing for 90 minutes, and then they get a lucky goal in the 92nd minute to win.
Southgate plot armor. It's absolute plot armor from Southgate. Like,
this is incredible. Like, I've watched some of those games with some friends as well. You either tie the game, like in the group stages, and go to shootouts or something like that, or you get 1 goal in the last 2 minutes of the match and somehow still win. It's honestly quite incredible. I mean, if it takes you to winning a Euro Cup, fair enough, right? But
no, that Denmark game was like a snake water game where like you're just sat on last and then instantly the other team just like sets up on last with sentry gun and just gives up mid-second and then sits on last for 5 more minutes, like for the entire game. It was.
I think it's a stamina. You know what? It's a stamina strategy. You guys are just wearing out the other team until they're tired. They just fall asleep, make 1 mistake, and that's when you send in Harry Kane, and he does his magic or something. I feel like that's what's been happening. Anyway, there was another unpause, so maybe Mac is finally rejoining the server, and we're actually going to be continuing this play of the game that is at hand, and not football, which is nice, I guess.
Yeah, the thing is, I guess at this point, like obviously the time is ticking up. We can see how long we've been in this pause. It's been quite a while. Like at this point, do we fear it might not be Mac who's rejoining? Maybe they're getting
maybe
they're getting some emergency Merc, ringing up all the friends. You know, like can you Merc for us? Come on, I'll give you a key if you turn up and.
You probably don't have to pay them. People just like playing this game.
It's like call someone up and go down the list. First one to join gets to play. You know, like
they do have SNH on their roster as a substitute as well. It's always possible that he might just slot in. As far as I'm aware, he's more of a scout player, but I guess, you know, Mac was a demo player until this season, so anything can happen. We never know. But at this point, that might very well be what happens as well. I don't know. Did Mac rejoin the server, or is somebody else sticking in production? Do we know anything at all? Otto has joined the server.
There we
Okay.
go.
Well,
Well,
looks like we're going again. All right, there you go. And for the time being, Lucas actually lives. You know,
how
we
does
were saying
Lucas
like
live? What?
like 8 minutes ago, 8 minutes we were saying, oh, he's gonna die to Inzo and Hans here. Nah, he kills him. He just kills both of them with a little bit of help from Warped, and they actually get out of this alive somehow. Some way, somehow they're here, and now they have a new medic. Well, not now. They're gonna have a new medic in like 2 minutes, but you know.
Yeah, this was the
I don't know
first
if it's gonna
pause,
turn the
wasn't it?
tide.
This was the first of the two
Yeah.
pauses that happened here. So Mac's gonna crash again on crits.
That is honestly just so unfortunate because they were trying to turn things around with a little bit of a momentum shift there, but it's not going to happen. They gotta hang on to second for the time being, as well as MANDEM slowly but surely make their way forward here. Manix is on a sniper already as well, seeing if he can be a little cheeky somehow, maybe some way find his himself a little cheeky frag, but it's not gonna happen. No picks for you. You're gonna have to get on last, and unfortunately for them, that Chris isn't gonna do anything even if they had it, because there's an Uber coming into last for the side of MANDEM as they immediately take care of that sentry and try to spawn him as best they can as well. Fancy leading the charge, a little bit of cap time as well, and nobody is getting out of that spawn door. Half the team already dead for SKEDDA, the other half sure to follow. Although they're doing their best to try and hold the point, it is simply not enough against all of that MANDEM aggression, and they're making it 4-0.
Yeah, the SKEDDA soldiers did a slightly better job that time than previously at like blocking the point just for as long as they could, but it doesn't really matter, right? Two soldiers can block the point for as long as they want, but if the rest of the team is just dead, you're not going to hold them for long enough, right? There's only 600 health points to go around. But that's it. That's the second pause coming through, 4-0. We are going from the realm of improbability into borderline impossibility at this point for a comeback, but with a crits over on June, anything can happen. We saw this pulled out the first round, and with Auto potentially subbing in, I believe that's happened now at this point. My HUD's being silly on my end.
Yeah, I don't know what is happening. Fancy is now called Mac on my end, so Auto is now Fancy. Look, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. All we know is it's Auto on the blue team now, and there you go. And it sure won't make much of a difference on this map at this point. You have 7 minutes for 4 rounds. It's almost impossible to turn that around, but we will certainly be seeing something on the next maps. And hey, look, a little bit of a crits comes out of June. Unfortunately, didn't accomplish much, but hey, they tried something, right? They were feeling a little cheeky with it, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what you do at the side of MANDEM. You cannot lose. If you're MANDEM, you cannot lose at this point, and yeah. You know, it's on SKEDDA to try and get acclimated.
This
oh
is
my
double
god.
scout backcap, right? Boulder and Insta are really going to go for this. No, they're backing out. They're just going to go for the flank play. Going to try and wrap. Boulder just redoing with the team. Inso going to still be hiding out around in the garage. You've seen these flank plays go so well for Inso. Going to be maybe trying to get onto medics. Nobody gets the kill. Maybe start with some cap time, or he's just going to dance around and just not give the position away as everyone bombs in onto Auto. Demo and Soldier going to clean up that kill. Warp goes down too. June's gone down, but this flank is absolutely crunching in onto the entire team of SKEDDA. The point's going to flip, and Af's going to run back in and try and block this. I don't know if they're aware of this. Seems like Inso is partially aware of it. Yep, going to get the frag. But maybe last point is going to be a rough one to defend here with all these players running in.
Yeah, they tried their best here, certainly. Still doing an okay job. Again, the counter flank on SKEDDA is probably the only thing that kept them in this round at that point. And my game just crashed, so that's lovely as well, but I guess it won't affect much here at the end of the day. And yeah, they're holding on. I mean, there's a lot of cap time on last, but they're still trying to get out into second as well, as best as they possibly can, to just try and buy themselves maybe a round at this point. You know, you can try to make many things happen. If you're SKEDDA, you can't win anymore, but you can give yourself a bit of a morale boost at the end of the day, right? That's something to get, perhaps.
Yeah, getting one round on the board, like, and especially just using these 5 minutes, right? They've got a medic merc coming in, just getting used to playing with the medic, you know, like, just getting sort of the vibes there, and just talking with each other, just getting themselves ready for Bagel when that one comes up. But in the meantime, I think looks like MANDEM are in a bit of a rush. They've been pushing players pretty aggro. Inso's just going to wrap behind and did they not see? Okay, they did see. Lucas is going to bomb back, but Lucas loses the fight to Insu, who's getting away on 8 HP. No way this is going to happen. Blank into onto the medic of Auto. Medic's getting just about going to win that one out, up to the 6k. But I thought like Insu was going to be the 8 HP warrior there and just live forever. But
doesn't get away with it that time. Doesn't quite get away with it that time around, unfortunately. For SKEDDA though, he does get away with a crucial frag. Auto is dead, so there's no chance they can push out in any capacity either. And they're still just sitting on their second, trying to somehow get themselves a morale boost, as they They already have medics on Nas as well, building a sentry, so they're knowing what they're expecting here. But do they know it's going to be another crits out of June? Do they know that? Are they aware? Do they know what could possibly be hitting them here? So Jordy tries to go forward. A little flank, but won't do anything. And the crits come out on the second with basically no targets. I mean, Fancy's trying his best. He does find a demo at the very least there. And nice little pipe to the nice soldier from Bobbin as well, but no kill cleaned up just yet. But hey, opening up that last with the demo frag is probably enough for the MANDEM we've seen. And they're going to try to get on that point as fast as they can. Matter of fact, they do get so much cap time already. And yeah, they just round that one out. GG go next for SKEDDA. It's a map to forget, but still one where they tried their best, I guess. Given the circumstances.
Yeah, nice little cleanup there from MANDEM. You know, just the crits, like you said, didn't go great, right? They got 1 kill on the demo. There was a soldier bombing in, I think, 2 who went down, but like 2 picks for the crits. Like you're basically pushing in 6v4 dry like against a gun. Like that can definitely go wrong, especially when the spawner's coming in potentially. But no, very, very calmly dealt with, all playing around their heels very well. And yeah, 5-0 is a brutal way for that game to go. Yeah, of course, there was connection issues towards the end that certainly impacted the last 2 of those rounds, but the first 3, they were as legitimate as you're going to get, and MANDEM were running away in those 3 too.
Yeah, they were still in control of it, but at least in some fights we saw some flashes of, you know, what SKEDDA could be capable of. And who knows? Maybe Bagel's a completely different story, right? It's always possible that even though they picked this map, I mean, besides the issues, they just weren't on form. They just weren't warmed up as much. Maybe, you know, MANDEM did better warm up before the match tonight. It's always possible that that happens as well. So, at the end of the day, you go into your next map, that's when things can completely change around. Fancy dropping a monstrous amount of damage as well, as you're seeing on screen right now. Holy crap.
Nearly
they had a bit of a match.
Had a bit of a match,
400
DPM. That is crazy. That is absolutely crazy.
It's a lot. I think that really just shows how one-sided this match was at the end of the day. Even if SKEDDA tried their best to put up a fight and, you know, had some flashes, some opportunities, yeah, it's a pretty dominating performance out of MANDEM just across the board. Like if you compare role to role, Mendix and Ash honestly having a terrible time as well. I mean, they get some frags, but that's about it. If you compare role to role, every player is just outmatched by their counterpart on MANDEM.
Yeah, like genuinely, like it was close to a 6-man diff, right? But yeah, like I don't know. I'm also noticing these logs, the 23 kills on INSO too is crazy. But yeah, that damage number just screams out, right? Like I didn't feel like I was saying Fancy's name that often.
Yeah.
But like obviously there was a couple of really nice pipes we saw, but just genuinely just racking up like crazy damage over time, right? Like
they ran crits for a bit of the first round as well. Maybe that skews the damage numbers.
There's a couple of big crits, right? Those crit stickies do a heck of a lot.
It does skew the numbers a little bit, perhaps, but yeah, I mean, just the cleanup was there as well. Like, even if Fancy doesn't get the kills, right? Just Inzo doing a monstrous job in Boulder as well, cleaning up all that damage. The soldiers wreaking havoc, softening up targets as well. It's the damage difference just shows, and that's why at the end of the day, MANDEM come out on top. I mean, even if the medics are, you know, somewhat potentially evenly matched. Am I seeing that right? Did June get 7 crit streaks? That's a lot. I didn't see that many. That's kind of when did that happen?
I guess it builds so quick, right? Like I don't think she was on crits that long. Like she was on crits for like 4 minutes or so in the first round, and then like had a couple of mid fights later on. But like 7 crits, that's like
that's a lot.
That's
even if you consider that it's 25% faster, that is still like if you were to cut it by 25%, right? Let's say that's equal to 4 Ubers. That's still 4 extra charges over Mac. Obviously, auto comes in at the end, so you know that screws up max stats a little bit. But still, it's a lot of extra medic right clicking time.
Yeah, and we saw the crits have like not great effect, but like it was definitely played around pretty well, right? The zoning was good. Like they didn't get onto Mac or onto auto too much, but they were getting onto Lucas, which is again like a demo kill in a crits. Like it's workable, right? Like especially if you know the enemy medic's not going to get Uber for a little while, like you can potentially go for something off that. But yeah, really, really great play, and like again, just I guess if you're staying alive, hope to get these Ubers as well, right? Like I don't think I saw June go down too often that game.
I think she did live quite a lot more. Mac just getting caught a little bit more, but hey, he's got an excuse. His internet was acting up tonight, so maybe auto's going to be a different story. This guy's won Prem a couple of times, so You'd think he's up to the task, right? He's probably gonna have an okay time, and we're gonna be going into a different map. We're gonna be going into King of the Hill Bagel. I'm surprised how often we've seen it. Honestly, I thought people hated Koth, but I guess Bagel has struck a chord with a lot of people. Seems to be the map we see a lot more frequently than Product at this
Yeah, it's
point.
like, do people hate Koth or do people hate Product, right? Is the
Hmm.
thing, right? Because like I know there was like a stigma for a while, right? Of like when Product was like the sole map in Koth, there was like teams that were like, oh, we're just gonna ban it all the time, or we're gonna try and lose it. It was like a big deal, right? But now like you have to play Koth. Like you will be playing Koth at some points because you can't just be the team that doesn't play Koth because people will pick it against you and you will struggle, right?
Yeah.
So, and there's always Bagel coming, and like it's such a different flavor of a Koth map. Like I don't know, I feel like it's at least like I don't know, it's very very different in how it plays to Product, particularly like for like the soldiers and such. Like I think it just brings a new dynamic, and yeah, teams are like willing to there's like a compromise. Like, okay, we maybe didn't like Products originally, but like Bagels are here and it's the new one, and maybe we can spend some time on this and start living the game mode again.
Maybe just even though I mean we called it new, it's been around for a couple of years now, right? We've been playing it for a little bit already, even in Europe, but it's still newer, I suppose, right? People haven't gotten the acumen with the map yet. They haven't accumulated insane amounts of just background knowledge. The map still it's a bit more modern. There's still like there's strats obviously by now, but it still isn't as ironed out, right? I think people are probably still going to be less aware of every minutia of the map at every point in time. So maybe chaotic strats play into it better, right? If you're trying to play off the DM more and stuff like that, maybe this is a map that suits you better in that case as well. And if you're going hard on bagel matches, then that could give you an advantage. If you're the team that adapts to a newer map better, then at the end of the day, you're gonna have a better chance at this one. Now, I say that as this was Mandem's pick. So obviously they were feeling confident in the fact that they could play this, and well, I don't know. SKEDDA maybe would have picked it as well if they had been given the choice to pick it instead. But maybe they're happy that Mandem picked it for them, right? Who knows? End of the day, they just lost their map pick, and now they're going up against Mandem on a map that they wanted to play, and a team that is just in general very strong on pretty much every map. So yeah, how do you come back as SKEDDA here? How does this happen?
It's gonna be hard, right? Like, it's gonna be rough getting back, but yeah, on enemy map pick as well. It's never gonna be too nice.
I don't know. It's a curious one. I mean, look, if Auto slots in seamlessly and they just go get right back on form. Maybe Mac was having more trouble that match, right? Maybe it wasn't just his internet cutting out. Maybe at some point he was also just lagging a bunch. Couldn't really, maybe that's why he was getting caught so much. So maybe just having a medic that, to be fair, also has notorious internet issues sometimes. But hey, maybe having Auto be stable could be the boon they want here, as they're actually just getting started straight away and spamming across the point as you do at the start of a Koth map, waiting, begging for the location of that cap timer to unlock, and finally being able to actually get something going here with the objective play. So for the time being, it's just a bit of spam, a little bit of denial, and seeing who can make the first move, aka the first frag or anything that could be an
There's
opening here.
crits.
Oh, crits out of the side.
At the end, they get crits. The auto's getting chased all the way back. Oh, just about stays alive. Horns is going to go and get aft in the meantime. This auto
Ooh.
does have a crit ready to use, but June actually just almost has regular Uber. June now has, so this crit could be in trouble. Boulder running straight in onto Lucas, who is alive somehow for a moment. Menek's getting chased down, and actually this Uber does not get as much as I thought it might do. Right from June, Boulder running in does so much damage. I do not have a clue how Lucas lives. Auto getting out with Menix is huge too, as the counter crit comes back in. Inso gonna dance around, get taken down by Menix, who finds two more. Really nice play there from the scout, but again, vulnerable in these flip-flop plays, right? Like on Koth maps in particular, like after these Ubers and after these crits, you're so vulnerable, and losing a few players in that post fight is going to mean the cap has gone the way of the red, and blank in onto Auto 2 is gonna, oh, that's the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, that was already a pretty unfortunate crits. Lucas is not quite hitting what he wanted to, getting cleaned up, just half the team getting cleaned up while the crits were still ongoing. And, just the scouts trying to salvage it as best they can. The cap's still in favor of Mandem for the time being, but not too much time ticked off of it yet. And SKEDDA right back on the ball, trying to get back out here as well. And I believe Auto has switched back to stock as well. So we're going to go back to normal Ubers. The crit play didn't quite work as well as it could have, but at least it wasn't a complete disaster. It could have gone worse at the end of the day. And now they just have to stabilize themselves. Somehow maybe try and get an early force out of June here at the end of the day.
Geordie's there.
Yeah, he's trying his best, actually, and gets a lot of damage, but doesn't get the cleanup damage that he needs. And that's unfortunately going to put a nail in that. Af gets taken down as well, and it's just pins falling in favor of MANDEM, even if they don't have the point right now. Warp gets cleaned up on the point, and it's just pin after pin falling. Blank jumping across the point gets effectively a force, I guess. Like, maybe Auto was willing to use across the point anyway, but they're not really chasing anything over it. They're just trying to get out as the counter Uber comes in, and well, look, they live for the time being. Inzo gets cleaned up as well, trying to slip in behind, and SKEDDA, they're staying on the ball. They're not out of this just yet.
That was so close to like massive disaster there over on the SKEDDA side. Auto literally got the exact millisecond that all that damage comes in, and he's just about to able to use the Uber charge to live and save so many of those teammates. We saw lots of them go down regardless, but that could have been so much worse over on the SKEDDA side. But as it stands, still not great. Still over a minute down on the clock, still roughly even Ubers, and it's still MANDEM the ones pressuring into the right house. 2 Medics gonna be actually winning out the fight originally. Inso gonna be dancing around trying to get onto Jordy too, but it's gonna be getting cleaned up by the cavalry of Af coming back through as we trade 2 for 2. Flanks on both sides have gone down, meaning it's gonna be getting potentially a bit messy as this cap pressure can come through a bit freer. But Fancy getting blasted away might slow this down slightly over a MANDEM.
Both medics have their Ubers ready, so we're looking at an exchange sooner rather than later, depending on how much damage is dealt. Fancy does a lot to Auto there, forcing him to basically just use to keep himself and his team alive. Obviously, counter comes out of June as well. Slightly better Uber for the side of MANDEM on the back of that, but both teams just kind of resetting, not really much to fight during that. It's the post-Uber that matters here, and currently with MANDEM control the point and a minute up on the clock, it's certainly looking like SKEDDA want to get on there ASAP, and that plays into MANDEM's hands. End of the day, they can just spam anybody off that point as best they can, and right now they're just buying themselves so much time. That clock is ticking. 2 minutes.
Demo down.
2 minutes left for SKEDDA still as well. It's not looking nice already. They're gonna have to try and get something going here. They're probably just waiting for the next Uber at this point with this everlasting fight. Lucas might come up before they even have an opportunity to get back on. Warp cleaned up as well, though. Things are just falling. If one player going down every once in a while, they're constantly at a player disadvantage. Balder is in on the medic as well. Poor Auto.
No way.
How does he live? That's incredible. Balder respects the scout too much. Honestly, I would have W'd in there. Probably missed every shot, to be fair, but you know, I respect him for holding it back. I respect him for just being able to keep it at bay and realize, okay, I can't fight this one. I gotta do this the old-fashioned way.
There's 10 seconds, right? Like, you may as well just keep players alive. There's gonna be an Uber trade onto point, but after this, it's gonna be into overtime, and that's meaning that SKEDDA have to stand on this point. They have to eat all of the spam, or they just don't stand on the point. That's also possible.
Who needs overtime anyway? It's not necessary, right? You can just forfeit the round and then have another attempt this time around. Maybe this time around it's gonna be looking a bit better, a little bit more different. Who knows? Look. It's only the first round of a cough map. They go fast. They go by quick. At the end of the day, this one could be very different. We'll see if SKEDDA find their way back into this, or if MANDEM are going to start running away with it again this time around as well, and buying themselves to take it straight to the finals. As the next fight over the point is underway again. Teams just doing their usual thing of spamming across, buying themselves some space while they wait for that point to unlock, and it's going to be on whoever gets the first frag as Jordy trades out. Doesn't quite get a trade, actually. Does get cleaned up on the side, and that opens it wide for MANDEM to do even more. The scouts roaming free across the point, and the cap already getting so much time on it. It's so quick on this map as well, and there you go. Just like that, they grab it once more. Hans is in deep as well onto Auto, cleans up that frag. Oh, yep, cleans up with gravity, I suppose. I got ahead of myself ever so slightly, but he does get that kill in the end with gravity, and, well, that's looking good. That's looking real good for MANDEM already.
Yeah, I honestly thought the air shot was going to land there. It was some nice little backward strafe there from Auto to surf out of the way of the air shot. So not going to appear in the frag movie, but he's just going to tracer anyway. So, but it's all that's what you care about as a medic, right? You just don't want to be on those frag movies where you're getting air shot. As that's going to be a big advantage for June, and big cap advantage for the rest of MANDEM too, as they're again taking the lead in the second round, and again the ones pressing forwards as Af's taken a ton of damage across this point. And this is the awkward situation, right? In these cost maps, when you're disad like this, you can't really go too close to the point, right? Because you're full disad. They can just use a cross. Boulder will eat up the opportunity to just sprint across with a full Uber and just wipe out your entire team.
Yeah, well, they're trading out soldiers for the time being, so that is certainly working in their favor. Now they just gotta keep that team alive as the Uber does come in. Boulder eats whatever he can. In this case, it's gonna be Lucas, and that's about it. They find Blank as well as a little consolation on the other side, so hey, Han's still out of it, just no respawning. Maybe there's an opportunity here with the Uber now on the side of SKEDDA as well. They can get onto that point for sure. Will they be able to hang on to it for long? Well, that depends on how well this Uber goes for them, if they decide to use it, and how they manage to get onto June, or any sort of amount of, useful picks. They clean up Inzo, who slips in behind once more, so that opens things up a little bit as well. Lots of cap time, slowly but surely. They do edge it out, and if they don't have to use for it as well, even better. Keep that Uber for an equal exchange. Unfortunately for you, you're losing all your players. Lucas and Warp going down. Even if you find them on the other side, it's still, actually they found June. I didn't even notice that. When did that happen?
Yeah, June just gets caught on the pressure forward, and actually SKEDDA are looking pretty good, right? They've kept their medic up. They lose Lucas, they lose Warped, but not the end of the world, right? It's huge advantage. The forward hull can't happen because there's no demo man and there are soldiers short, so they are going to have to back up away from this forward stance and potentially give up the point, but actually no, they don't even want that. They're going to charge straight in Af, getting so much damage, going to get onto Boulder, onto June 2, and maybe Geordie can go in for more too, onto Fancy. So the cap blocked out again as Af runs back, Lucas 2, and maybe there is a chance for a forward hull. Geordie's going to be a late spawner, so one soldier, I guess, does nip that in the bud potentially, but like this Uber charge across point was so good from SKEDDA. Like they're back in this round.
Yeah, and they keep a little bit of an ad as well, because June does get cleaned up, so they're going to keep in control of this, depending on how well they can hold their flanks as well, as Blank has already slipped in deep behind an agent of the deep state, and he does a lot of damage there as well. Doesn't quite trade out with Geordie at the end, but it certainly buys him a little bit of distraction, because the point gets flipped, and the clock is still in favor of MANDEM at the end of the day. Even if SKEDDA retake the point immediately, still in favor of MANDEM, and MANDEM are hanging onto it with an iron fist. They do not want to give this point up. Auto is so low as well. One straight pipe could end this man's career. He does get an Uber finally, and worst case he might have to use to keep his team alive here across the point. June is going to have one soon as well, though, so it's going to turn into an exchange, and
just in time.
There it is. Just in time as well. Af was about to land a massive meat shot, so yeah, we're going to have to wait to see those Ubers fade to see how this turns out, and well, they've already lost Warped, so SKEDDA are not looking pretty. They haven't gotten that much time down off the point yet.
How is Fancy alive? Fancy has taken literally 500 damage that fight. That was outrageous. I was like, surely Fancy goes down. Surely Fancy goes down. Eats another meat shot.
Nope.
Surely goes down. Gets arrowed again. Like, that was absolute madness. I do not know how that is possible over on Fancy. And Boulder's now chasing him. How is Auto alive too, to be quite honest? Like, this was, I don't know, far fewer frags happened in that exchange than there really should have been, right? Like, it was madness.
Yeah. It felt like that post-Uber fight should have wiped out 4 people on each team, and somehow it didn't, so here we are, back with a reset. June's slight ad now, and again, MANDEM control the point for the time being. Warp gets cleaned up as well, so SKEDDA already not looking good on the re-aggression, and they can't take care of these players on point, get that cap time finally in their favor. They just need to cap this point, which isn't happening. Now with the Uber across the point as well, Auto still doesn't have, and Lucas might just pay with his life. Never mind, he gets it in time, just about. And they will be able to catch out June as well. So this is SKEDDA's chance to really put the hammer down. They have to stay in control of this point for as long as they can. Don't lose any more players. It's only Fancy Alive who's trying his best to get in and can't. Lucas hits that nice little pipe, and there you go. They're in control. They can even forward hold this. This is what SKEDDA needs. This is what they need to be back in control of this. A minute on the clock. It's certainly possible to hold on for that long.
Yeah,
and even
absolutely.
have ads. They gotta do this.
Yeah, MANDEM are going to have to throw everything at this one. They can't really allow Auto to get this Uber charge up if they can help it. Just going to try and spam through, but spamming is this demo man. Lucas is just like able to lock out this left-hand side so easily. And it actually seems that like the rest of the MANDEM side are going to have to walk around towards Concrete, and they're going to lose both of their scouts in the process. And take a heck of a lot of damage over onto June. Horns falling as well, and we said the idea they didn't want to let these Ubers come up, and that might just be what's happening. There's 20 seconds left of this blue clock, and Ubers are going to be even, but the forward hold is still there. They've got to burst through this.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough nut to crack for MANDEM here. They have to not only get through that, but get on the point in time as well. And they're eating so much damage just trying to get out of lobby. They do find a nice little frag onto Geordie to open it up with, and the Ubers are exchanged finally, but they're trying to get these MANDEM players away from the point as best they can. Almost no overtime, just a little bit of cap time, but so much aggression, so much frags for MANDEM. They're finding the kills they need, and it's only Auto left alive.
No way. That Uber, like, okay, it didn't look awful for MANDEM. How are they getting 5 for 1 off of the back of that Uber? That is crazy. And now there's 6 seconds left on MANDEM's clock. They're just going to win this. They're going to completely lock out SKEDDA. I thought that was a done deal. And MANDEM battle back at the perfect moment. There was a slither of cap time to send that into overtime. That was a crazy last-ditch attempt coming in, and 2-0 up, but they're 1 round away from the grand final.
Just the Uber fading a few milliseconds later on the side of SKEDDA there, being able to block the point a little bit longer, maybe clean up some players, that would have done a difference. Had auto popped maybe half a second or something. Okay. All right, we're not going into any analysis. We're just going straight into it. Auto's already dead. It's no heals for the side of SKEDDA. June is still alive and probably feeling a lot of danger, but it's living for the time being. And these remaining SKEDDA players, well, they're just scurrying around like little rats, seeing what they can do, seeing what they can get away with, and not finding anything but death as Manix goes down as well. And well, a little bit of cap time, I guess, to start it out with, but there goes Jordy, and it's just biding time as best they can. Lucas is in maybe a bit too aggressively, a bit too deep, waiting for his team to back him up. He's doing as much as he possibly can to stay alive, but Hans jumping you is something you don't like to see if you miss your air pipe as well. And look what, auto goes down as well again, so MANDEM are back in control.
Fancy's trapping Spawn. What is the disrespect is crazy. Oh my god, I thought was that Manix there I thought was gonna get out. That is absolutely madness. The disrespect this round, like they just decided, you know what, we're just gonna stop playing like respectful TFT. We're just gonna throw in the BM. There's demos bombing choke, they're forward trapping, they're bombing in behind again, blank is in. Not quite gonna get that last bit of damage over onto auto, but there's still massive Uber ad. Okay, it's a player down for MANDEM, but they can hold this as long as they want, and they're not even going to wait. They're going to use straight across, straight onto auto. Can they find any more with this Uber, though, onto the low ground? Seems like Lucas has gone down. Af going to be jumping around, trying to get in onto Boulder, who's very, very weak. Af wins out the fight, but Hunt is there to come in and body block and make sure that June is able to get out alive, so it's not going to be that... Oh, warped, actually. It's going to be hard for auto.
Does get that crucial frag onto June to keep his team in the running here. They are down a minute on the clock. They still haven't capped quite yet, so it's probably going to be more like 90 seconds. Not quite. By the time they finally cap it off, but maybe, just maybe, SKEDDA finally have a chance to be in the driver's seat here. They've got about 30% ad to work with now. They've got their players up and ready as well. And even if they can't forward hold, they can certainly try to hold back this MANDEM team as best they can. As Inzo already slips in on the side and could spell a bit of doom here as Lucas takes a metric ton of damage right away, and they trade out Jordy for blank instead. Fair enough. Soldiers on the soldier side, but there's the flank prodding through already from MANDEM, making so much space. Boulder's in on the point as well. Inzo is in behind, just being a nuisance, and they're getting so much cap time off the back of it. Matter of fact, they're almost capping the point off already, and just winning off raw DM warped on 1 HP. Hans bombing in, finding a beautiful frag onto Lucas once more. Oh my god. And the Uber got forced out of that as well?
Yep.
Oh my god.
And Auto might not be leaving either. Oh, takes so much damage. Can Boulder get the last little bit of a chip shot? Doesn't seem like it. Auto is able to get out alive, but this cap comes through and still time advantage, remember, over on the MANDEM side. Massive, massive Uber advantage and disaster situation. Get the Uber forced out and dropping the demo. Crazy stuff. Af running in, actually going to get a good force there. Is going to mitigate this Uber advantage, and honestly this Uber doesn't seem like it's getting a great deal. Boulder's still dancing on his left-hand house. The flank goes down, Af and Warp both caught, but that seems to be it.
Yeah, you got Blank in behind though, and even if they're aware of him, he's being a bit of a thorn over there. You got to deal with that guy, and then suddenly the other team, the other side of the team aggresses, and you're losing your soldier once more as well. Jordy going down just means that even if you're trying to push out a SKEDDA here, you're still down a player. You got to now deal with the fact that he's not there, and that Uber ad is bleeding away. They have it for now, but they got to make use of it quick, and unfortunately MANDEM are aware of this. They're positioned quite defensively, ready to cut off anybody who might try to get a little bit too eager, and not even dropping too many players either. Okay, they do lose Fancy actually. That Uber does come through, they do find that frag, they do find June as well. Okay, this could be something.
Yeah, absolutely. Point caps come through too, so this round definitely not over and done yet. There's still a long way to go yet over on the SKEDDA side, but Auto able to get a bit of an advantage up. Kills into Fancy and June, very, very important. Lucas does get spawn denied, but they're going to take that any day, right? They had to get the point cap eventually, and they had to try and get that kill onto June, which they managed, but now it's MANDEM's turn to pressure in, and especially with no Uber charge up yet for Auto, these like dry pressures onto the point are quite dangerous. This point, like you said earlier, caps so quickly that it can just be capped under your noses sometimes. As actually the Lucas and Warp teaming together to do a lot of damage, and now they can just potentially lock everyone out. All right, never mind the dry fight going SKEDDA's way.
They just kill people. It turns out sometimes you don't have to play the objective as much, and you can just kill enemy players, and then they can't do the same. They can't play the objective. So you live and you win, and that just like that, you get out on top of it. And SKEDDA actually really aggressive with their hold here as well, seeing what they can make do with it, and taking a lot of damage for their troubles as MANDEM pushes in through. They realize they've got full Ubers, so it's going to be a bit of an exchange across the point soon enough, and there it is. It comes out as Af tries to desperately find anybody who is not currently shiny and reflecting his bullets, and, well, at the very least, they reset without anybody dying on either side for the time being. Nice little shot. Auto just narrowly escaping as well. One more rocket would have done him in, and to still stay on top. SKEDDA keep control of the point. They find the frags that they need to. They trade out wherever they can, and yeah, they're finding the crucial frags. They're staying on top of it for still, somehow, some way. They lost another scout there, but okay, lost the point now, but they're in the lead for once in terms of clock time, so that's something.
Yeah, for how long will that be the case? There is the real question. The spawners coming up for both these teams. It's going to be 6v6, and again, like round 2, it seems like we're going to be going into sort of an end-of-round time scramble for these teams. June, with a mild advantage over in the Ubercharge department, might be able to potentially catch out this SKEDDA side if they decide to go in super quickly, and that might just be what they're doing. Boulder, the one taking this one in onto Auto, who dies at 95%. That's what the Solemn Vow could do for you when you know you've got these tiny advantages. Wiping up everyone, warp the last one to fall, and that will be it.
That's how it ends. Not with a bang, but with a whimper. A very unfortunate situation to find yourself in, just like that. And there goes SKEDDA's dreams of a fast track to the finals. They gotta go through lower bracket. They gotta go through whoever has won the other match, and then also through MANDEM once more. So, hey, look, if they win at least.
10% odds.
Yeah, I can't say I didn't expect this one. It was MANDEM's pick at the end of the day, but that's heartbreaking. That's a heartbreaking way to end the map, isn't it?
Yeah, it's rough, but I've got to say I was very impressed with like how SKEDDA fought back. Obviously on the first map, like SKEDDA's own pick, like generally I wasn't very impressed with what SKEDDA showed for us. Right, they were getting outclassed over the board, but on Bagel they fought back well. Right, those last 2 rounds were super close, and they had great moments. Their Ubers looked really coordinated. Their flank was doing generally better than the previous map. Like Inso and Haunts weren't getting in everywhere for free. Like there was marked improvement over on that first map, but at the end of the day, it's still a 3-0, right? When you look back at this game and think, oh, it's 3-0, 5-0, right? That must have been a roll, right?
It wasn't quite, and
yeah.
I just had my, like, you know, like the cartoon when like people's eyes bulge out of their skull. I had that happen when I looked at the logs and saw Boulder's damage.
What?
I don't. How does he do it?
What?
How does he do? What did he do? I mean, we saw him run across the point with a chariot a lot of the time, but did he really do that much damage? Did he that many meat shots?
450 DP. That's one of the highest. Like, to be fair though, Afrin Medics on either side not.
This was a high damage game across the board.
Afrin Medics also like not falling much further behind, right? Like these DPMs are utterly bonkers. Like I've not seen anything like this before.
This is a damaging game. No healing, and everybody just dies all the time. Apparently, that's insane. Incredible stuff. But at the end of the day, it was a fast game. I guess maybe that's why. That's why it seems so. It's so such high damage per minute or whatever. But it was a quick game. No matter how you think about it, it was only 3 rounds, and MANDEM once more just having the edge. Right, they just come out on top ever so slightly. They have the slightly better Uber exchanges. That one exchange across the point where like it was even across the point, and then somehow, some way, SKEDDA just wipes. They just lose all their players. Yeah, they
lost basically everyone for like 1 trade frag, right? They killed like 1 soldier, and that was it.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened. That's a crazy one, but you know that's what it takes sometimes. And here they are, fast track to the finals to be played. Weirdly enough, like 4 days from now. But there's a weird scheduling with a major sports tournament happening on the weekend. You know, that's unfortunately how things go. Also, 34% heals for Boulder is maybe explains how got so much damage.
Yeah, that was
maybe it's starting to put it into perspective ever so slightly.
Yeah, that was a fantastic show from MANDEM. But honestly, like I said earlier, like I think SKEDDA have got a lot of positives to take away from that second map in particular. Like I think obviously it wasn't their pick. Maybe this is one they can lean into in the future against weaker opposition than MANDEM, because let's face it, MANDEM, they did win Prem last season. They are the strongest team that like online TF2 has to offer at the moment in Europe. Like, yeah, they're not always going to go your way, but SKEDDA still look good. They had some good performance, like you said, both their scouts having a good showings in that last map, but they're going to have to prove themselves now against the team which I don't think that game's finished yet, but they'll be playing in the low bracket final, and if they win that, they get a chance at redemption. So all
Yep.
to play for them.
And maybe that time don't pick Granary. I don't know. Just they've got like a terrible track record now on that map, right? Like they picked it and they felt confident, and then they got their ass kicked again. So maybe at some point you just gotta stop coping. You gotta stop. You just give up on Granary and just try something different. Maybe. I guess we'll see how that goes for them. For now, this is it for the upper bracket final of the 66 Summer Brawl, sponsored, powered by Gladiator.tf. And unless you've got any closing words, Ben, I believe we should just cut it there. And
Go Gladiator.tf, big sponsor, like giving us providing the prize pool for this tournament. So not every day we get a prize pool, right? Last time these two teams played, there wasn't a prize pool at all. So it's something to go and support. But yeah, been a great game. Do join us for that lower bracket final and for the grand final coming up in the coming days. I'm sure there'll be announcements about it all over the place. So do join us. I'm Ben Play. We've had Cerny and Samus joining me on this one. So we'll see you all for that lower bracket final.
see you.